I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video we're going to have a look at the SolChicks Tier 1 announcement and options available in regards to a short-term price prediction. I'm going to adjust my sell-off strategy. What is it going to look like? What's going to happen? So in this video, I'll give you a complete overview of everything that has happened this week, last week, and looking forward over the next 2 weeks, where we're going to go based on our previous prediction. Nothing in this video is financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. We're going to have a look at Solchicks. Alright, so this is the maxi graph, which I like to use to have a good indication of what has happened. The initial launch happened about a week and a half ago. Then there was a lot of problems with that launch. It caused it to drop here from about 65 to 20. Then the initial claim happened on the 33 cents, dropped it to 15. It has been around 15 ever stable. There was obviously earlier this week, right, a couple of days ago, almost a week ago actually, an announcement which happened here on the 18th that there would be a major industry disruptive announcement which drove up the price almost to about 20 cents, reaching about 19.37. The announcement was a big disaster in my opinion, which I made a video on my channel, which basically dropped the price to about 13 cents, right? Now we're basically in a recovery mode, moving sideways, not doing that much, and then there was a big drop to about 12 cents, has recovered ever since, keeping stable between like 12 and 14 cents, right? Nothing that impressive has happened just yet, but we're maybe looking forward, or at least hoping, for the next leg up, right? Because as an investor, and a quite big one, I'm actually in the top 80 current holders of Solchicks, surprisingly. I'm moving into the direction where things are not moving that well, in my opinion, not trying to spread any FUD, but I do think this project has a lot of potential, but I do have some concerns, which I will address in this video. All right, let's have a look at the previous prediction that I made, right? So my tokens, what I have available, the options for the actual announcement, which was like way off, right? So they didn't do anything of that. But I want to specifically look at the price options and where I said the moving area would be. So the moving area would be between 10 cents and 20 cents after about 2 weeks specifically, and then the KuCoin or OKEX listing would break that pattern. That hasn't happened yet, so no tier 1 exchange has been announced, and we're right there at the moving area. Do I know anything about technical analysis? No. Am I often wrong with my price predictions? Yes. So I might not be the best person to follow in regards to how things are going to move, but on this one I was quite correct. I only use common sense and previous established patterns to try and make a guesstimate of where things are going to move. So once we look at the markets, we can see that Maxi has added 2 pairings, Chicks Ethereum and Chicks Bitcoin, although there's literally no volume on those, probably only like sell-off volume here. We're looking at Maxi at about 812k volume and Radium 500,000, which is extremely low, right? So the 24-hour volume is 1.4 million. To give you an understanding, the minimum requirement to be listed on Binance, minimum requirement, one of many, is $15 million in daily sales volume. Why do tier 1 listings, for example, require this? Specifically because they make money over every transaction, right? So they need the volume in order for them to make it worth their while adjusting their ecosystem to this token. The 24-hour volume in Chicks was 5.8 million, but that's in Chicks, right? And we need to know the USD value, which is a lot lower, 1.4 million. So as I was not familiar that much with Maxi, I thought that was the USD value before, but it does say in Chicks, so I just didn't read it properly. That's quite unfortunate. So I want to take some things into consideration, which is the major announcements that they have been making on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, right? They have made some major announcements. So I want to go over that first. Then we'll look at things like market cap and fully diluted market cap, which will bring us major problems in the foreseeable future. And we're going to adjust this calculation based on that, right? Then we will select the price point for the sell-off. and then hopefully we're all happy. So let's see the first announcements, right? Yield farming has become available. One thing I don't know much about is yield farming, specifically because I don't like impermanent loss. So if you don't know what that means, if you don't know how yield farming works, I suggest you YouTube it, but it's not simple, right? It's basically you provide liquidity to a liquidity pool where there are two variables, right? If one of the variables goes up, you get less of that variable, which potentially any price volatility doesn't work in your advantage and creates impermanent loss. That's why the rewards are so big, usually very high APIs compared to staking. So staking is only a one-sided asset, which usually gives you like 40 to 60% APY, where liquidity pools give you maybe 300%, right? So there's definitely triple-digit benefits there potentially if the price doesn't move that much, right? So that's not something I like to risk. I know a lot of people have huge experience and make all their money with yield farming. It's just something that doesn't concern me. I like a little bit more active style, but that's good, because what that means is if we go to Radium, right, and we actually look at the liquidity pool, it means that when people provide liquidity, tokens are removed from the circulating supply. So pools, pools. And when tokens are removed from the circulating supply, this means that they can't be sold. So liquidity is at $1 million right now, which is great. The APY is about 94.89%, so still quite high, right? Fees distributed 1.4K. If we look at something like Monkeyball that got listed this week, they have 8.7 million in liquidity. So their liquidity percentage is lower, of course, because more is provided, but they have been doing a way better job in getting people to provide liquidity to lock up their tokens in order to cut the circulating supply, which means less supply, same demand, price goes up, right? Very simple equation there. I do think that Solchick was very late with the liquidity. Usually on the launch date, you would want to provide that immediately to cut the circulating supply, but they did it, and I think they should promote it a little bit more, what the benefits are of this, because it did get a lot of engagement. I don't know what the audience was actually reacting to it, but it appears that they overall are quite happy. There's a lot of these spam comments, but overall they did quite a good job. All right. So the next one is strategic partnerships, right? Usually I'm not too excited about the partnerships, specifically when it's about like major long-term projects, but I have two interesting ones that I want to highlight in addition. So Gate.io is one of them. Then we have the KuCoin one, which they announced way before already, which I covered in one of the previous videos. And then they have the Fractal one, right? Which is basically from one of the co-founders of Twitch. And they made a partnership, so they gave him like an NFT. He's been promoting it a little bit, but now they made an official announcement that they will go into a partnership. They're posting quite a bit, a lot of meme stuff, but at least they're doing a giveaway. They're spreading some awareness, also announcing a second gaming partner. Okay, so there's some long-term focus, which I really like, right? Especially with Fractal, which is still relatively small, but could be relatively huge, because this guy, that CEO, has quite a big following, right, and dedicated following. All right, so that's basically the three announcements. Let's look at what these announcements actually mean for us as investors, or at least me as an investor. So before they announced this, which they announced already on December 13, so about a week ago, that KuCoin Labs, which is basically the venture capital side of KuCoin, is going to integrate SolChicks as a partnership for their $100 million venture capital fund, which basically means, so what they're actually going to do is invest into SolChicks development, assist them, blah, 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 right? Whatever incubator, venture capital stuff do, all these mechanics, which is not interesting for the short term. What is interesting is that KuCoin therefore has a direct interest in SolChicks, and I assume that out of this will flow a T1 listing for SolChicks, right? On KuCoin, that is. It only makes sense. Why would you invest? If I would be the venture capital firm, Would I invest into a project and then not list them where I have the opportunity to help them get mass adoption? Doesn't make sense, right? So probably KuCoin has the requirements for SolChicks to get listed. They just need to meet those requirements and then it will happen, right? What these actual requirements are, I have no clue. So basically the same thing, strategic investment in SolChicks by Gate.io Labs, right? So Gate.io Labs, again, the same thing, the same flow, the same pattern, the same thoughts for me. Gate.io makes a strategic partnership with SolChicks. They have an exchange with like a good amount of relevant users. This was published 21 hours ago. So there is some build up in terms of the moves they're making. You gotta basically see through the bullshit a little bit, see through the short term, but also not go too long term because this could have an immediate effect. So what I want to do is I want to take the price, the current price, make a full analysis based on what we can expect on the current market cap, right? Because that's, I think, quite important. So currently we're sitting about 13.75 cents, which I'll take, right? So 13.75 cents. That is the price. Whoa, what happened? There we go. Which is when we look at the IDO price, where we purchase basically of 5 cents, that's like a 2.75x on a current market cap of 25789. 25789, but that's not all. 882. 882. Right, so we got to put these numbers in like the accounting format. Oh, let me change it to the accounting format. Okay, perfect. So that's a little bit easier to read. Not only do I want to know the market cap, so this is market cap, this is multiple, and this is price. I also want to know the fully diluted market cap because for my estimate, this one will be extremely important. So this is 1374, 655,962, 655,962. The reason that is extremely important is basically because we want to compare it to other projects. What is the room for growth? And I will give you an example, right? If we look at Sandbox, which just took quite a jump today, where's Sandbox? Or Axie Infinity is also fine, right? This is working with a fully diluted market cap of 28 million, a market cap of 6 million, right? The price would go times 6 on SolChicks, which would bring it to about 90 cents, right? It would already be working with a market cap, which is at this point, so it's 6 billion, right? We will be working with a market cap, which is like 125 million, fully diluted, 6 billion, right? Which is really, really high. Take, for example, a better example, maybe Monkeyball, which I spoke about before, and we'll take Start Atlas being the biggest Solana mover, right? Okay, so right now it is 25 million. So let's say it goes times 10 to match the market cap of Start Atlas, right? Start Atlas 250 million. We go times 10, it's $1.30. And then we have 250 million. However, fully diluted, this is only 4 billion. If it goes times 10, we would end up at 13 billion, which basically means that SolChicks has a lot of tokens, right? That is something that is obviously quite clear. I didn't look at it that much, I gotta tell. People in my Discord notified me of this. So if you're not in the Discord already, check out the link below. We share a lot of helpful information. The market cap for Monkeyball is only 43 million at the moment, which is higher, almost double that of SolChicks, and they also have obviously had a huge rally, so the launch did extremely well, but fully diluted it's only 1.7 billion, where SolChicks is already 1.3 billion. So they are limited by their potential based on the amount of tokens, right? Why is this worrying me? This is worrying me specifically because the vesting release of 13th of January. Because that release is going to fuck up the price unless they burn tokens. But they can't burn tokens because I have read the white paper, I have Googled it, and specifically here on one of the DAO Make studies, it says transaction fees and breeding cost will burn tokens. That's literally the only burn mechanic I could find. And for transaction fees and breeding cost to be able to burn tokens, the game has to be live, which will be end of 2022, which means that for the entire vesting period, second, third, fourth vesting, we will see a lot of buying pressure, right? The sell-offs will be huge and the price will be destroyed because of this, which is something that concerns me, and I will show you in this step ladder model. So we are going to add basically, let's see, how much should we add? Let's add 1 cent every single time and see how far we can move. Yeah. So basically it's how we're going to do this. Market cap. Yeah, I would need the total circulating, but I can also add the difference, I reckon. So this is basically 0.25% difference. So let me see if this works. This minus this times this. No, that doesn't work. Okay, so we just need to find the tokens. It will be easier for our calculation. And when I say us, I mean me. SolChicks. All right, total chicks tokens, self-reported circulating supply. Okay, so that's not fully diluted, but that's a circulating supply, but we can match this one to this one later. All right, so this is the tokens. So then basically we do the price times circulating supply. Yes, that works. And then the ratio between fully diluted and the market cap is 53 times. So basically up until the 13th of January, it would be this times this, and that's how we would calculate it. Okay, perfect. You can see quite the increase already. Now we're going to push it all out to the goal where I want to go, which is 50 cents. Where I would like to go, where I would wish to go, if it would be possible. Okay, so 10x, yep. All good so far. Okay, that's not good. We need to fix a specific number. Times this, so we're going to fix this unit here. There we go. And then we should be good, and we are good. All right. So we're heading towards then 100 million circulating supply, market cap, right? And for this, what are we going to fix? We're going to fix the 53. And then we should be able to pull it too. All right, so here we're already adding into the billions, which is making it quite unrealistic, fully diluted to reach that, because I don't know the exact numbers, I haven't researched it, but somebody mentioned me that on the 13th of January there will be another 80 million or something tokens into distribution. I don't know, I haven't checked it, just some random comment. But if that would be the case, yeah, that would be bad. All right, let's look at the tokens so far, what we have. So 1.3, okay, so I like to compare it just to these two, just to have an indication. Obviously they're way different projects, way different tokens, way different tokenomics, but at least to get an idea of what would be realistic, because the market cap at the end of the day is the valuation of the market towards the project. It's not the actual worth of the company. It would be resembled so in a real stock index, but in this case, because it's crypto, it's more of a hype indicative metric, because it's so fluctuant, right? The normal company would not lose like $100 million in value overnight on a daily basis, where that could happen with crypto if you're like a top 100 coin. All right, let's have a look. So SolChicks, 25 million right now, 43 million, 250 million. So 250 million is definitely possible. So 100 million before January 13th could happen. We just have to keep our mind on the fully diluted market cap as well, because if the January 13 happens, then the circulating supply, which is relative to this market cap, will jump, right? Most likely from the first vesting to the second vesting, the amount of tokens will double, right? So then this 100 million becomes 200 million all of a sudden, which basically means that we're looking at a T1 listing, right, on exchange. So whether that is Gate.io or it's like KuCoin, that needs to occur before the 13th for the price to jump. What happens on the 13th in general, right? In general, I assume, on any vesting release, the price will sink, the price will tank. However, the price will tank because people want to sell and have a quick flip, in addition to the fact that the market cap is way overvalued, in my opinion, which makes the price also sink. So this day, I can already forecast, I will call it right now and see in a month from now if I'm correct, will be a bloody red day for Solchicks. Unless they do something with the burning of the tokens, which I don't think is possible because they have mentioned they will only burn based on the breeding cost and transaction fees on the platform. And the platform is not ready, unfortunately. Choices. What are they going to do? Maybe they know something that I don't know. Could be possible, right? Because I learn new things every single day, especially about Solchicks. But this is quite interesting, in my opinion. All right. So the question, the main question. When are we going to sell? What do I think is realistic? What are the opportunities with this at the current moment? All right, so these listings are extremely important. The reason why is because they will bring something that we need in order for price movement to increase. The question is, if we look at this chart, what's happening? I said, if we look at it, why is it so zoomed in? Oh, I was holding it apparently. No. It's just a little messed up right now. Okay, so the question is, I have my thumb on the trackpad, that's why. My bad. Okay, so the question is, why is it relatively stable, right? And when I say stable, I mean between, let's say, 13 cents and, well, it's not working correctly. Let me show you, let me refresh the screen, because it's a little trippy right now. Yeah, pull up the chart, please. Okay, so why is it... I'm not even on Chicks anymore. That's why. What's going on? We only care about Solchicks, guys. We don't want to see other tokens. We're the Solchicks crew here. All right, so why is the price only moving so slightly, right? 13, 15, 13, 15. Basically, ever since the initial vesting dump, right? Before the vesting dump, it was stable at 30. Right, so the price is extremely stable. Why? Is there no like step ladder and then a bigger dump and then a step ladder and then a bigger dump? Because the volume is not there, right? The volume is not there. So the price cannot be hugely influenced because there's no huge influxes and no huge sell-offs, which makes the peak go up and down, right? When you look at other coins, they're like drastic peaks. Let me give you one example. Right, that I know has like big peaks. So if you look at the Meta Hero coin, put the chart on, let's say 15 minutes, you see the price volatility up, down, and this is all in the range of, let's say, 2 days, right? But with Solchicks it doesn't happen. It's super stable. Why does it like occur like this? Right, and this is 15 to 16 cents, so this is still like almost 10% gains, 10% drops, because there's a lot of volume behind this coin, right? If we would pull it up specifically, then the daily volume is 15 million a day, right? Which is 15 times more than what Solchick is currently having. So that is important to consider. These two listings, when we would look at the actual exchanges, so we go exchanges, we go to spot. Gate has $2 billion a day in volume. KuCoin 3.5 billion, right? Now we go to Maxi, it only has 700 million, right? We go to Radium, which is under the DEX, so it's not here, it's under DEX. Radium only has 130 million. So you can't expect these exchanges to bring you huge volume, or these DEXs, but KuCoin or Gate can really push that price because of the volume, because of more mass adoption of the coin, making it accessible to people. You can't say like, hey, I have this great project, but in order to buy it, you need to create a Maxi account, just a random exchange. They require some KYC, maybe not, maybe they do, depends on your country. Yeah, it's a little fucked up, little workaround, and you can buy $100 and maybe soon it will be worth 10,000. That's a lot of work for somebody who just wants to buy a random coin, right? So you need to bring the coin to the people and not the people towards the coin. Which therefore I think KuCoin and Gate will open up like a floodgate. So that tier 1 exchange extremely important. I will say that I will not sell until this happens. So whether it takes 1 week or they will list it on the 10th of January, I will hold. Yes, I will get more nervous the closer we get to this date, right? But I will hold. So obviously I have my vesting, which is about $7,500 worth of SolChicks. And then I also bought an additional $10,000 on 10 cents. So the initial 10,000, no matter what, I'm going to sell off at 25 cents. So probably like 25.75 in this graph. Right, so this is my first sell-off, which I'm going to sell my initial 10K, which I purchased, which I then will be able to sell off for, well, is 10,000, 1, 2, 3, times basically 2.5 minus 1, right? So times 1.5, 15K, yeah, 5K profit in that case, if I did the math correctly. So here is basically my 10K sell-off point. So then I have 7.5K left of investment. Right, investments. These are not the total amounts, these are the investment amounts, which I'm actually looking to move between this moving range, right? So I think on the actual, and I'm saying this moving range, which is quite big, I would even add like more to it, right? So I could even say like, hey, let's just drag it all out to like $1, for example, which could happen. I mean, regarding the fully diluted market cap is a little ridiculous, $10 billion. But 200 million, like it could happen potentially. I was very wrong with my Monkeyball prediction, so I'm being conservative on what can actually happen in this crazy crypto space, right? So $1, it could happen. I think it's extremely unlikely, but it could happen on a tier 1 exchange announcement. But I'm going to take profits no matter what on this 10K at 25 cents. Then in addition to that, I will have this as the floating period. Why would I say that? Moving area, right? Because I don't know what it exactly will do on a T1 listing. So I will have my assets ready when it's going to be listed to have a guaranteed sell-off, right? I'm not going to wait for the T1 listing and then wait 2 days to see if it goes more. This project has been quite volatile, not as I expected it to go. So I want to take guaranteed profits, and then for my second, third, fourth vesting, we can see whatever that brings. Just because I have a lot of money invested into this, right? And one of my main strategies, my core principles, is take profits, rather take less profit now than take profit too late and get wrecked, right? So I will be looking at the live chart when it gets listed and probably make my call as soon as I see, let's say 4 or 5 green candles stack and I see any second leg down, not the first leg, probably second leg down, I will have my order there to sell off, or I will make an additional step ladder depending on which exchange it is. So as soon as they announce the listing, usually they announce that like 6 hours before it happens, I will shoot an emergency video if I have the time, but probably I will shoot an emergency video with my exact sell-off strategy, but I wouldn't sell, in my opinion, below that point. So just for this purpose, I will pull the chart back. Yeah. So the first sell-off would happen literally like here, which is basically before the vesting drop happened, like 25 cents, which could basically literally happen. It already reached 19 cents on the announcement. So I think I could even sell it on Maxi. As soon as they announce it, the price will shoot up when the listing hasn't even happened, right? So I do think we can enter that high 60, 80, maybe $1 range on the actual listing when the hype becomes real, the momentum, and maybe it's listed in CoinMarketCap as one of the biggest daily gainers, right? I think those are all things important. Where I'm not too sad if I would sell too early, because at the end of the day, I do have 3 more vesting rounds to be released, where the long-term potential is still there. I just need to take short-term profits. I need to be focused on my profits and not focused on a dream which you never capitalize on and then get wrecked, right? So for that specific video, where to sell on the second part of my portfolio, so the first part will be sold off at about 25 cents. Take a small gain, that's fine. Then the second part, 40 cents plus, preferably 50 cents in my opinion. That was my initial goal. But if that would be realistic, right, I will just hold it to see if the chart moves up, but I'll be quick, right? So as soon as I see the red candle move, and I don't want to take any exponential risk there. So if I end up selling at 50 cents and it goes an hour later to $1, I'm not sad because I have so much investing left that it will be good for me. I'm just happy I took my profits and I can reinvest that or reallocate that and diversify the risk of my portfolio, right? That is very important right now because I'm quite heavy into the Solchicks. When looking at the market cap, let's say we would go for 50 cents, right, on a 10x from IDO. That's 95 million, which means that it's double the Monkeyball size, and it's about half the Star Atlas size, which I think is still reasonable. If you would go into like 250 million, 200 million, then we would be comparing Solchicks with Star Atlas, and Star Atlas has like way more NFTs, way bigger audience, way longer progression in terms of what they have done, right? It did come from like a real high and even before, right? So I do expect it to run up and the market cap to increase. So we would be looking at like 350, 400 million at that point. But that would need to happen to create room to validate, because as I said before, the market cap of this project is what the market values this project, literally. But there is no game. The team hasn't had the proper track record in terms of after listing and before listing announcements. So I wouldn't be able to validate. If somebody would ask me, do you think Solchick is worth 200 million? I would say, fuck no, right? Is it worth 100 million based on the hype? Well, maybe, because the audience is huge and the potential is there. But that's all speculation, right? And that's all the market cap really is at this point, unless there is like breeding, staking, more liquidity being added to the market, which basically verifies and regulates, not regulates, but maybe verifies the fact that tokens are locked, supply is reduced, and demand stays the same or increases, which drives the price up. But at the end of the day, crypto is crypto, so you never know how it goes. This is what I expect to happen. I hope that the chart on Maxi or any other exchange, hopefully KuCoin and Gate, I assume that to happen preferably before the 31st, so before the end of the year, after Christmas. So I don't think they will make the announcement before Christmas. That would be amazing. But I think between Christmas and New Year's, there's like a silent period for most people. They take some time off, which in my opinion would be maybe not the best decision for the investors, because a lot of seed and venture capital companies are not in the office, right? But most adaptation for like low volume investors could occur then, because they're mostly at home. They have time to research, they have time to act on all of these things, right? I don't think that will happen. I think it will happen preferably 1 week before the actual vesting release or 3 days before the vesting release. Why? Because venture capital and seed investors put the pressure on the team to drive the price then up to catch the dump. That's my logical thinking. If I would be a venture capitalist or a seed investor early into SolChicks, that's my reasoning of what I think will happen. What do you think will happen? What do you think the price will go? I would love to know if you guys have any information on the burn mechanics, because I would love to explore that, read more, do some more research there. Do you think $1 is feasible? And let's not do any moon boys. Let's give a good argument why this project would be worth $1 and $190 million. Or maybe less. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Let's see what the future brings. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give this a video. You could give me a video, but I prefer a like on this video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.